Hello everyone, today's video I'll be reviewing The Mummy's Tomb from 1942. After The Mummy's Hand was a hit, Universal made another sequel to The Mummy. This was the only Mummy movie that had a follow-up sequel after it had continuity and a follow-up. The Mummy's Tomb was directed by Harold Young. The story was written by Neil P. Varnick. The screenplay was written by Griffin J. and Henry Shusher. The movie stars Lon Chaney Jr., Dick Foran, John Hubbard, Ellis Knox, Wallace Ford, and Turhan Bey. The Mummy's Tomb was released on October 23, 1942. The Mummy's Tomb is about Steve, an old archaeologist who recalls the mummy Charis, who is now at large in England. The last movie takes place in the 1940s. This movie takes place 30 years later in the future, 1970. They had no idea what the 1970s was going to be like, and no one dressed up like this back in the 1970s. Imagine if Cars was in a blaxploitation film or an exploitation film in general. The opening scene is good when Steve tells his son and soon-to-be daughter-in-law about the events from the last movie told in flashbacks. It also amazes me how cool the old makeup prosthetic effects look on both Steve and Babe. Definitely nowhere close to my father recalled in the Batman movie review how in the Irishman the way they digitally made Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino look younger. But then again, this is the 1940s. This was way, way, way before CGI. This one is okay. It's not bad. It's just average, mediocre, nothing special, and it's not top the last movie. Just like Ghost of Frankenstein, this is one of the downfalls of the series. It's nothing special. This is one of the ones I watched the least, maybe once or twice as a kid. Then I moved on after that. It's too short, fast-paced, and rushed. After when Steve and Babe are killed by the mummy Charis, it goes downhill, and the other characters are not interesting, they're boring, bland, not memorable, no personalities. Babe in this movie is not comedic like in the last movie. I wish he was in it more and killed up until the end trying to save Steve's son and his fiancée. This movie rehashes the last movie where the torch is passed down to a new pupil caretaker for the mummy Charis. After the old caretaker dies and finds his lost reincarnated lover, and once the caretaker sees Steve's son's fiancée, he falls in love with her and wants the girl all to himself. Lame. Very lame. The movie opens up with a Wolfman theme again, lazy for not making their own music. Lon Chaney Jr. plays the mummy Charis. This was the first time he ever played the mummy. He would go on to play the mummy 2 more times, a total of 3 times. It makes sense because around this time period, he was on top after his success with the Wolfman, and he played Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, which he sucked as both Dracula and the monster. Son of Dracula Alucard spelled backward. That was a bunch of baloney. He was Dracula, not Dracula's son. As a kid, it was hard to recognize him or think of him as the mummy in the rest of the series. Right here, once again, was the first time I saw The Mummy's Tomb on this Universal Monsters The Mummy DVD set. And of course, in 2022, I have it on Blu-ray. There's really not much else I have to say about this movie, that it was one of the weakest of the series, it's uninspiring, and that it was only made for a quick buck rather than put some effort and art into it. So that was my review of The Mummy's Tomb. Stay tuned for tomorrow for The Mummy's Ghost.